Hi everyone, Monisha here. This is the last episode of metals and non-metals. So which consists of extraction of metals, the basic terminologies like ore, mineral, slag, flux, the definition of it and how a metals has been extracted from its ore form and the different techniques, purification techniques used for that. So these are the topics and the last topics which we are going to study in this video. So let us start the session. Occurrence and distribution of metals. So first we have to know the basic things about this. Ore, deposit that contains enough metal that we can extract economically. So ore is a thing which consists of that metal which we will extract. So ore consists of two or more metals in a combined form. By the reaction it will be combined and that is called as a single thing. So which is combined of two or more metals. And by that we will use this extraction technique to extract that single specific metal. Most metals are found in minerals. Most important ores are oxide, sulfide and carbonates. So for this we have to know metallurgy. So what is metallurgy? Metallurgy is a science and technology of extracting metals from minerals. So we need to have one single specific metal for its application. So for that we need to extract it from its combined state. So that technique or the technology is said to be metallurgy. There are 5 important steps for this metallurgy. First one is mining, getting the ore out of the ground. So inside the earth crust the ore will be there. So first we have to dig it. So mining, getting the ore out of the ground. So next is concentrating. So preparing it for further treatment. So after getting it from the earth crust, we have to concentrate it, that is preparing it for the further treatment. So next is reduction. To obtain the free metal in the zero oxidation state. So reduction means if it is combined, if it is oxide statement, it will be combined with other metal. So we have to free that metal from that oxidation state. So that is called as reduction. So after reduction, we have to clean it, right? Every metal has to clean it. So that is refining to obtain the pure metal. So if we obtain the pure metal, we can use it for different types of application. For example, copper, if we take it from its, if we take it into a pure form, we can use it as a copper cables. So next, mixing with other metals to form an alloy. In some of the application, the single metal can't be used. We have to mix it to make it even more stronger and use it to be applicated. So that is called as alloy. So mixing with other metals. So these are the 5 techniques or the 5 methods used in metallurgy for extraction. So let us know about the basic terminologies and the definitions which are very important for an exam. First one is mineral. So mineral is a solid, naturally occurring inorganic substance formed by geological processes. It is a solid, naturally occurring inorganic substance formed by geological process, means earth will form it. It's not man-made process, it is a geological process. Next is ore, a naturally occurring solid material from which a metal or valuable mineral can be extracted. So ore is a combined form of 2 or more metals and it is naturally occurring solid material. So from which we will be extracting that specific metal for its application. So next is flux. It is a chemical cleaning agent used for purification of the ores. So after extracting, I told you it has to be purified to make it in a pure metal form. So the material which is used for that purification is called as a flux. So it is a chemical cleaning agent used for purification of the ore. Next is a slag. So slag is a waste matter separated from metals during the extraction of ore. So usually the metals will be in an impure form. It is not in a specific form. It will be in a combined form. So if you want, for example, if copper and iron is combined, and if you want to take only copper, the other element will become an impurity for you. So if copper and iron is combined for one material or for one application, we need only copper. So if we need only copper, we have to remove iron from it. In this case, iron will become the slag or impurity. Okay. So the waste matter separated from metals during the extraction of ore is called as slag. The last and important one is gangue. In mining, gangue is the commercially worthless material that surrounds or is closely mixed with a wanted mineral in an ore deposit. It is thus distinct from overburden, which is a waste rock or material overlying an ore or mineral body that are displaced during mining without being processed. So gangue is some waste material which obtained while extracting the ore. The separation of mineral from gangue is known as mineral processing. First, what we'll do, ore itself is a two or more combination of the metals. So from which it is mixed with the gangue. It is a waste material. So first we will remove that gangue from the ore. So the separation of mineral from the gangue is known as mineral processing. Next is principal mineral source of some metals. We have to know the mineral and the composition of it. So aluminium, the mineral is bauxite. So bauxite is that mineral which will consist of two or more materials inside that. So from which aluminium will be extracted. So that is called as a mineral. So aluminium's mineral is bauxite, which the composition is Al2O3, chromium, chromite, copper, chalcopyrite, chalcocite or malachite, iron, hematite and magnetite, lead, galena, manganese, pyrolusite, mercury, cinnabar, molybdenum, molybdenite, tin, cassiterite, titanium, rutile and ilmenite, zinc is sphalerite. So these are the minerals from which the metal has been extracted. There is no need of memorizing everything. The important one is aluminium, chromium, copper, iron, manganese. Okay, aluminium, chromium, copper, iron and manganese. Only these minerals of these metals you have to memorize because may appear for MCQ multiple choice questions. This is a small activity. There is a match the following for you. Aluminium, for which of the uses of it? So the uses of aluminium, the use of copper and use of iron. You have to think it and do it. I have already done it. I will show you. So aluminium is used for making aircraft bodies, copper for water pipes, iron for making steel. So these are the uses of metals. Now let us move on to the extraction of metals. Only some unreactive metals such as silver, gold and platinum can occur freely in nature. Most metals react with other elements to form ores. Next is, how does reactivity affect extraction? The reactivity of a metal determines how it is extracted. I have already told you in my previous session about the reactivity series. Potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium and aluminium, more reactive metals. So metals above carbon in the reactivity series must be extracted using electrolysis. So electrolysis can also be used to purify copper. Okay, so these more reactive elements such as potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium and aluminium is extracted by the method called electrolysis. So next is moderately reacting elements such as zinc, iron and lead. Metals less reactive than carbon can be extracted from their ores by reduction using carbon, coke or charcoal. So the moderately reacting elements are extracted by a method called reduction. The last is least reactive such as copper, silver, gold, platinum. Platinum, gold, silver and copper can occur native. It will be in its form itself. So there is no need of any extraction. So this is the methods for the more reactive, mediumly reactive and the less reactive elements. First is electrolysis for more reactive, reduction for medium reactive and no extraction is needed for the last least reactive elements. Enrichment of ores. Generally, metals occur in nature as their compound, except less reactive metals like copper, Ag is silver and Au is gold, Au arrum and Ag argentum, Cu copper, cuprum. So these are its ores, so which found in native state. So there is no need of extraction. The metallic compounds that in the earth are called minerals. The minerals from which metals can be extracted readily and profitably are called ores. There are some types of ores. Ores are found in the form of oxides, sulfate, carbonates, chlorides and silicates. Oxide ore, sulfide ore, carbonate ore, sulfate ore, chloride ore and silicate ore. Oxide ore contains AlFeTi, that is aluminium, iron and tin. Sulfide ore is CuZnHg, that is copper, zinc and mercury. So it follows up to silicon ore, silicate ore, which consists of Mg magnesium and Al aluminium. There is no need of memorizing these things, only the ores we have to keep it in mind. The earthy impurity or gangue is generally infusible, but it can be converted into fusible mass called slag. That is, we can remove it by the addition of a compound called flux. So flux is a material which is used to remove the impurity to make a metal a pure form. So being light, the slag floats on the molten metal and can be skimmed off. So when gangue means the impurity, when flux is added to that material, so gangue and flux will become a slag, again an impurity which can be skimmed off, which can be taken out, removed. So for that we will get a pure state of metal. The nature of flux used depends upon the nature of the impurity to be removed. Acidic flux, basic flux. So nature of the impurity, the type of the flux will be varied. There is two types of flux, an acidic flux and a basic flux. So enrichment of ore consists of the following techniques. First it will be ore and it is purified, that is metal compound separated from bits of sand and rocks. So we will get a metal compound. Next it is extracted, the specific metal is extracted. So metal chemically separated from other elements, we will get finally the product, a pure form of metal is obtained. So these are the steps involved in extraction of metals from their ores. There are many different extraction methods for it. So I already told you in the reactivity series, the extraction is different for different methods, right? For high reactive, it is electrolysis. For less medium reactive, it is reduction. And for last low reactive, usually nothing is needed. So metals, first it is ore. Ore can be of three types: high reactive metal, metals with medium reactivity and metals with low reactivity. So metals of high reactivity, if we need to extract a metal of high reactivity from that ore, electrolysis of molten ore is taken, a pure metal is obtained. So it will take somewhat different method if a metals which we need to extract is medium reactivity. The ore again may be carbonate ore or sulfide ore. So if the ore is carbonate, calcination is required, and if the ore is sulfide, roasting is required. After that, oxide of metal is obtained. Oxide of metal, we need to take out that oxide. So reduction is used, and after finally refining to obtain a pure metal. Last is metals of low reactivity. If it is a metal of low reactivity, then usually it will be a sulfide ore. Then roasting is needed. If it is a carbonate ore, calcination, sulfide ore, roasting. So sulfide ore, roasting is needed. Again, a metal is obtained, and in order to get a pure form, refining technique is used. So just by knowing or memorizing this table, we can understand what method is used. So reactivity series I have included once again for your memorization: potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, which is above carbon, which is extracted by using electrolysis. Below carbon, zinc, iron, tin and lead. So extract by burning with carbon. Okay, so these metals are extracted by burning with carbon. Copper, mercury, extract by burning directly in air. Silver and gold, clearly in its native form, so no extraction is needed. First is extraction of metals low in activity series. So metals which are low in the activity series, that is reactivity series, can be reduced to the metals by heating in the presence of oxygen. So roasting. We have seen in the last row, low reactive, only roasting is needed because sulfide ore will be there. So mercury is obtained from its ore cinnabar, HgS, by heating in the presence of oxygen. So when it is heated in the presence of oxygen, it is first converted into mercuric oxide, HgO, and on further heating, it is reduced to mercury. So in order to get mercury, 2 HgS plus 3 O2 gives 2 HgO, that is mercuric oxide is obtained. Again, this mercuric oxide is heated to obtain the pure form of mercury. So next, copper is obtained. Copper are less reactive element. So copper is obtained from its sulfide ore, CuS. Almost the low reactive element will be having the sulfide ore itself. Mercury will be having mercuric sulfide, that is HgS, and copper will be having copper sulfide ore. By heating in the presence of oxygen, we will get pure copper by heating it. Extraction of metals in the middle of activity series. So the metals in the middle of activity series like zinc, iron, lead is Pb, are found as oxide, sulfate and carbonate ores. So zinc will be obtained in an oxide ore, Fe iron will be sulfide ore and Pb lead will be carbonate ore. It is easier to obtain metals from their oxides than from their sulfides or carbonates. So non-oxide ores are converted into oxide form before reduction. Non-oxide ores can be converted into oxide form by roasting or calcination. So first, if it is an oxide ore, then it will be easier for extraction. If it is not an oxide ore, first it will be made into the form of oxide or sulfide ore by using two methods, roasting and calcination. So if it is a carbonate ore, then calcination is required, and if it is a sulfide ore, then roasting is required. Roasting means is heating of an ore in the presence of oxygen. It is used to convert sulfide ore into oxide form. Okay. So for any metal to be get extracted, oxide form is the best thing. If it is in oxide form, then we can extract the metal easily. So there are three types of oxide forms, that is ore forms, oxide, sulfide and carbonate. So if it is readily in the oxide form, if the ore is readily in the oxide form, then it is easier for us to extract. If it is not in the oxide form and if it is in the sulfide and carbonate form, first it is converted into oxide form and then it is extracted. If it is in carbonate form, calcination is required to convert the carbonate ore into oxide form, and if it is in the sulfide form, then roasting is required to convert it into that is the sulfur into oxide form. Roasting and calcination is very important. Roasting is heating of an ore in the presence of oxygen. It is used to convert sulfide ore into oxide form. Next, calcination is heating of an ore in the absence of oxygen. It is used to convert it is a carbonate ore. So carbonate ore into oxide form. So the oxide ore is then reduced to a metal by heating with reducing agent. The most common reducing agent is coke. I hope you understood. In roasting, presence of oxygen. In calcination, absence of oxygen. Next is thermit reaction. Sometimes reactive metals like sodium, calcium, aluminium, etc. are used as reducing agents to obtain metals from their oxides. The reaction between metal oxides and aluminium is highly exothermic. Exothermic means liberation of heat takes place and the metals are obtained in molten state. Such reaction is called as thermit reaction. Thermit reaction means sometimes when extraction takes place from the oxide form, in order to extract it, aluminium, sodium or calcium is required and which liberates more form of heat energy. And it will be, the product will be in the form of a molten state. So this type of reaction is said to be thermit reaction. The reaction between iron oxide and aluminium produces molten iron. This reaction is used to join rail tracks, broken machine parts. Molten means it will be not a liquid and not a solid. It will be in the middle of it, is a molten form. So after producing it, so after using it, it will become tightened. So it is used for broken machine parts. So that we can use that molten liquid to tighten the machine parts or to join the rail tracks. Pyrometallurgy. So pyrometallurgy is not there in your syllabus, but I insist you have to read some of the topics of it because you have to know what is it. So pyrometallurgy is a branch of extractive metallurgy. In order for extraction, it consists of thermal treatment of minerals and metallurgical ores and concentrates to bring about physical and chemical transformation in the material to enable into recovery of valuable metals. So industrialization purpose, pyrometallurgy is used. And pyrometallurgy is suitable for less reactive materials like iron, copper, zinc, chromium, tin and manganese. So it is a branch of metallurgy for the extraction of valuable metals. So this pyrometallurgy is classified into following categories: calcination, roasting, smelting and refining, in which in your 10th standard syllabus calcination, roasting and refining is there, smelting is not there. So we can avoid smelting in this video. Calcination, very important topic. So calcination is heating to high temperature in the absence of air or oxygen. So calcination, absence of oxygen, and roasting, presence of oxygen. The main purpose of calcination of ores is to convert carbonate and hydroxide ores into oxides. Okay, so when the ores are in the form of carbonate or hydroxide, calcination is used to convert it into oxide. So when the ores are in the sulfide form, then roasting is used to convert it into oxides. I hope you understood the difference between calcination and roasting. So purpose of calcination is remove the volatile impurities, to remove moisture, make the mass porous. Next is roasting. The process of strong heating of the ore in the presence of excess amount of air below its melting point. So in roasting, the sulfide ore will be removed in the presence of oxygen. So purpose of roasting is to convert the sulfide ore into oxide and sulfate, to remove impurities like S, As and Sb, to remove moisture, to oxidize easily oxidizable substances. It is mainly used for sulfide ores. It converts the sulfides into oxides. So these are the two reactions which is used in roasting. Let us know about the basic differentiation between calcination versus roasting. Calcination is the process of heating in the absence of air. Roasting is the process of heating in the presence of air to oxidize the impurity. Calcination is employed for carbonate ores. Roasting is employed for sulfide ores. Calcination produces carbon dioxide along with metal oxide. Roasting produces sulfur dioxide along with the metal oxide. The differentiation between calcination versus roasting is very important. Next, similarities. Both are processes of heating the ore below its melting point, and both aim at the removal of impurities in the ore. These are the similarities of calcination and roasting. Last is the extraction of metal at the top of the activity series. Metals at the top of the activity series like K is potassium, Na, sodium, Ca, calcium and Al, aluminium, etc. cannot be obtained from their ores by simple heating or by heating with the reducing agent. Just like other metals with the low reaction or medium reaction can be reduced by calcination, roasting and refining methods, but the metals with the high reactivity can't be reduced that easily. They obtained by electrolytic reduction of their molten chlorides. So the top reactivity elements are chlorides. The low reactivity elements are readily oxides, and the medium reactivity elements are sulfide or carbonate ores. High reactivity elements are chlorides. These things you have to keep it in mind. When electric current is passed through molten sodium chloride, since it is sodium chloride in its ore form, sodium metal is deposited at the cathode and chlorine gas is deposited at the anode. Refining of metals, which is one of the important thing. The removal of impurities from the metal to obtain the pure metal is called refining of metals. So removing of the impurity from the metal to obtain the pure metal is refining of metal. The most common method of refining is electrolytic refining. In this method, a block of impure metal is made the anode and a thin sheet of pure metal is made the cathode. The electrolyte is a salt solution of metal to be purified. So this refining of metal and electrolytic solution is very important. In the electrolytic refining of copper, the block of impure copper is made as an anode and a thin sheet of pure copper is made as a cathode. So impure is anode, pure is cathode. Impure is the block of impure copper and a pure is a pure copper made of sheet. The electrolyte means the solution which you can see in the liquid form is the salt solution, copper sulfate salt solution, acidified copper sulfate solution. When electric current is passed through the electrolyte, pure copper from the anode, we know that it is an impure copper. Impure copper as anode means the impurity consists of two or more elements. Pure copper will also be there and impurities will also be there. So when electricity is passed in that impure copper, some amount of pure copper is also there, right? So that pure copper from the anode is deposited at the cathode and the impurities settle down as the anode mud. You can see the impurities at the down. So this diagram and the experiment is very important. as per your exam. Electrolytic refining of copper. Last topic is corrosion. Corrosion is the damage caused to metals due to reaction of metals with oxygen, moisture, carbon dioxide, etc. Example, formation of brown coating of rust over iron, formation of green coating of basic copper carbonate over copper, formation of black coating of silver sulfide over silver. So these are the impurities which form, or the corrosion which we say. Rusting of iron, green coat on the copper carbonate, and black coat on the silver sulfide. To show that air and moisture are necessary for the rusting of iron, an experiment is taken place. Take 3 test tubes marked 1, 2 and 3 and put iron nail in each of them. Put some anhydrous calcium chloride in test tube 1 to absorb moisture. Pour some boiled distilled water in test tube 2 and pour some oil over it to prevent air into the test tube, and pour some water in the test tube 3. Cork the test tube, that is close the test tube with the cork and leave them for few days. The nails in the test tube 1 does not get rusted because it had only air and no water. When moisture content is there, the material will rust, and anhydrous calcium chloride will readily absorb the moisture. If there is no moisture, no rusting takes place. The nails in the test tube 2 does not rust because it had only water and no air. So in order to rust, moisture means water content and air content should also be there. The nails in the test tube 3 get rusted because it had air and water both. So by this experiment, you will get to know, in order to rust, air and water both should be there. Else rusting will not take place. So prevention of corrosion. Corrosion of metals can be prevented by applying oil or grease, applying paint, by galvanization. Galvanization means coating with zinc. By tinning, that is coating with tin. By electroplating, coating a less reactive metal like chromium. By alloying, that is making alloys. These are the very important methods for the prevention of corrosion. Next is alloy. Again, very important topic. An alloy is a homogeneous mixture of metal, that is 2 or more metals with other metals or non-metal. So there can be a mixture of metal with the metal or a mixture of metal with the non-metal. Example, steel means steel is an alloy, that is it is a mixture of 2 or more elements. Steel consists of iron and carbon. Stainless steel, pure form of steel, which consists of iron, carbon, cobalt, nickel. Brass means copper and zinc. Bronze is copper and tin. Solder means lead and tin. So solder is usually used for welding electrical wire together. So that solder consists of lead and tin. If one of the metal is an alloy, is mercury, it is called as amalgam. So if one of the metal in an alloy is mercury, then it is called an amalgam. If in any metal, if mercury is added, then that mixture is said to be amalgam. So this was the last episode of metals and non-metal series. I hope you understood the basic concepts, the difference between that, physical properties, chemical properties of metals and non-metals, and how the metals are extracted, the basic terminologies of minerals like ore, slag, gangue, flux, etc., and how the metals are extracted, and the most important topic, that is the reactivity series, and how the reactivity series differs, and by that the extraction techniques also differs. So if you have any suggestions, queries or questions about these topics, please comment me on the comment section below. Thanks for watching.